Hi, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. My name's FM Jellico, and you're watching episode 26 of the Dafuge Challenge with Enfield Town FC. Well, the games at Kettering Town obviously took something out of the team because our performance since then has been woeful, to say the least. Our last 5 games, we've won 1 of them and we've lost 4. We still can't find a draw. After Kettering Town, Sutton United came to QE2 Park and beat us 5-3. Thelastis had 2 goals in the 5th and 12th minutes. Stuart Barber had a 56-minute goal. Antonio German had a hat trick for Sutton United, 9th, 11th, and 33rd minutes. I mean, it was 3-2 at the half. And then they got 2 more goals within 3 minutes of each other. Tamar Fleary had a 74th minute goal. Tommy Wright had a 77th minute goal. It was a fairly even game. They had 1 more shot than us and 1 more on target. They just hit more of them. I mean, you look at these stats. How can, I can't explain it. Thelastis, though, has been a really good defensive forward this season. And I'll show you a rundown of the players here in a minute. So after Sutton United, we went away to Aldershot Town, and they absolutely thumped us 4-1. Noel Mabeau had a hat trick, 13th minute goal, 50th minute goal, 76th minute penalty kick. Jake Scrimshaw had a 20th minute goal. Thelastis had a 59th minute goal to break up the clean sheet. I'm struggling to figure out what's going on and why. Maybe the 3-4-3 isn't cut out for this level of football. I don't think that's true, but that's one of the things I'm looking at. My defense is getting beaten a lot more in the Vanarama than they were in the Vanarama South, but I don't think the quality of players I have is any better or worse than some of these teams I'm playing. Yeah, some of them might have a couple better players than us, but they're not better players than us by leaps and bounds. Maybe some of the professional teams, but they're not all throwing. They're not throwing out a bunch of 4- and 5-star players against us. So after Aldershot Town, we were away at Fylde, and they beat us 3-2. For all intents and purposes, this game was over in the first half. Aidan Connolly had a first-minute goal right off the opening kickoff. Cameron Lancaster had a brace, 4th-minute goal, 23rd-minute goal. The only reason we got on board originally was Steve Calker had an own goal for Fylde, and then Lucas Green-Birch got on board in the 62nd minute. One of the things I'm noticing, especially in this game, is that Tom Ashton is just not getting the chances or creating as many chances as he used to. Part of that is due to the passes he is getting. I know I've mentioned this before. Ray or Dawson or Perry or Odom or Greeny, even back last year, they would get the ball, they'd launch it toward Ashton, it would land near him 5 to 7 yards away. He'd get there, he'd take it, and he'd cross it in. I mean, how often does a poacher have 23 assists, for crying out loud? And this season, the balls just aren't landing anywhere near him. And it's not like the players are being rushed. They're just making bad passes. Again, this was a pretty even game. We had the possession advantage, 13 shots, 5 on target, 6 off target. We had a shot that somehow bounced off the woodwork. It literally hit the inside of one post, went across the line, and hit the outside front part of the other post, and then bounced out. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened, but at the end of the day, I just shook my head and said it's FM. Sometimes the ball bounces your way, other times it doesn't. South Park came to our place, and we finally got out of our losing streak and beat them 5-3. Wakely had a penalty kick in the 2nd minute. Tom Ashton had a hat trick, 23rd, 45th, and 64th minute goals. Thelastis had another goal in the 29th minute. George Waring had a brace for Southport, 55th and 61st minute goals. Jordan Slew had an 82nd minute goal to kind of make it look closer. But after the first half, this game was never really in doubt. We had 16 shots, 7 on target, 5 half chances. We had 8 long shots, I'm happy with Lucas Green Birch, for whatever reason, just decided he was going to take a shot the instant he got the ball. And he was wildly inaccurate. I mean, he had one. I'm not quite sure why they're calling this one a shot, because it looks like it went out of bounds about 10 yards up the pitch. And then Cheltenham came to town and beat us 3-2. Lucas Green Birch had a brace, 17th minute, 74th minute goals. Cheltenham got an 18th minute goal from Jesse Starkey, a 36th minute goal from Adi Youssef, and a 47th minute goal from Kwame Thomas. They absolutely bossed us this game. 19 shots, 13 on target, 5 clear-cut chances. I sat back, I played it a little narrow with this game, I took off the direct passing, and this is what happened. Thelastis just had a horrible game. He got caught offsides 3 times. Each time he received the ball, he was offsides, and the only person he had left to beat was the keeper. It was frustrating as heck, but kudos to Cheltenham. They played a really good game, and it showed. So today we are playing Yeovil Town and Gateshead. We are currently in 12th place. No, we're currently in 13th place on 25 points. With 19 games played, we're ahead of the Lelujo ratio. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeovil Town is currently up in 8th place. Gateshead is bottom of the league. So I'm expecting at least 1 win out of today's matches. So I'm going to do things a little different from now on. As much as I like this skin and the intro and everything like that, it's not really conducive to going through the players. You'd have to talk like one of those people at the end of a commercial with all the disclaimers, and I just really can't talk that fast clearly, and frankly, I can't really talk that slowly clearly sometimes. So this is one of the preview screens before we go into team selection and everything like that. More often than not, whoever is going to be on this screen is whoever is going to start. So I will run through it now here. We are playing our 3-4-3. O'Brien in goal, Wakely, Lyons Foster, and Barber as the defensive back 3. Bentley, Ray, Perry, and Odom as the midfield 4. Ashton, Thelastis, and Greenberg as our strikers. Yeovil is playing a 4-2-3-1 with Brown in goal, Lewis, Lee, Civic, and Gabriel as the backfield 4. Spooner and Smith as the midfielders. Khan, De La Torre, and Mangoya as the attacking midfielders, and Hines as the lone striker up top. From here, you can't see the substitutes, but frankly, I don't know that anybody's desperate to see or hear who they are. This is another thing that's really bothering me. So Ray and Perry have a good relationship in the midfield, which is nice. Thelastis, Ashton, and Green Birch get along like a house on fire. Wakely doesn't get along with anybody. He is this year's version of Reagan Upton. And the problem is, if I put Deering in, Deering doesn't get along with Barber. I can put Ball in, but he's a backup. I gave him another start, and it was miserable. I brought him on as a backup. He's going to play as a backup. Lewis Lomas is finally healthy, so let's see what happens when we put him in. Yeah, he doesn't get along with Lyons Foster. I'll put Barber in the center. And Wakely on the right. Wakely doesn't get along with anybody. If I put Deering on the right, I can live with that. Well, I'm going to switch things up from now on, at least while using this skin. As much as I like the intro to the matches it has, it's not conducive to getting the lineups out. You can't pause on that screen long enough. There's a bunch of editing involved, and frankly, it's 45 seconds to a minute's worth of time that I think could be better used actually doing something else. This is one of the preview screens you get before you actually go into the match itself. More often than not, the players listed here are going to be the players who start the game. So I'm just going to start doing the lineups off of this. I might switch something between now and the actual start of the match. Maybe one player here, move a player to the bench. And you can't see who's on the bench on this screen here, but I don't think anybody's really going to miss that. So for our game against Yeovil Town, we are going to play our 3-4-3 with O'Brien in goal, Wakely, Lyons, Foster, and Barber as the backfield 3, Bentley, Ray, Perry, and Odom as the midfield 4, Ashton, Thelastis, and Greenbirch as the strikers. Yeovil is playing a 4-2-3-1 with Brown in goal, Lewis, Lee, Sibic, and Gabriel as the backfield 4, Spooner and Smith as the midfielders, Khan, Delatorre, and Mingoya as the attacking midfielders, and Hines as the striker. So I'm going to go through, double check, and make sure that this is the 11 I want starting, and then we will start the match. Back in a bit. Well, it's the opening kickoff here. Spoke too soon. No, I gotta change this real quick. Bentley with a throw into Ray. Bentley kicks it in. Thelastis is there, but goes back out to Ray, to Ashton, to Greenbirch, to Thelastis, to Odom. And it's pushed up and high by Brown. That was a nice save by the Oval goalie. There's a lot of back and forth there. It looked like Greenbirch and Thelastis both had shots on goal, but they decided to pass it instead. Now, 20 minutes in, only 2 shots on target. Okay. O'Brien sends it forward. Odom has it after Greenbirch heads it back to him on the right. In towards Ashton, but he can't control it. Goes back out. Bentley has it in the center. Perry to Ray. Back out to Odom. Was all alone. Looking to cross it in to Ashton. He can't control it, but Bentley's there. Greenbirch off the woodwork and out of bounds. It was a good header, just didn't have the right angle. They didn't count that as on target. Odom to Perry, to Barber, to Ray, off the woodwork. And Greenbirch was offsides. Now 33 minutes in. Spooner has it for Yeovil. Out to Khan. To Smith. To Delatorre. Back out to Lewis at midfield. Into Smith. To Delatorre in the center. He sends it out to Gabriel, who's all alone on the right. Crosses it in. Odom kicks it out. Now, it's not a great clearance. Mingoya has it over to Khan. Khan kicks it wide left. That's a fairly even game so far. Ray with the corner kick in. Odom off the woodwork again. Come on, Bentley, get there. And Bentley gets it from Khan, but Delatorre is at 61% for Yeovil Town. I wonder what's going on there. I managed to have a decent rotation going through most of my games, especially on the defensive back line and the midfield 4. So everybody is still mostly healthy. The only one who's not healthy is Lomas. He just came off that twisted ankle, so he's not completely match fit. We've been better than them, but it's not really showing. And Taylor Perry looked to switch off. Why are you looking to switch off? You've been the better team. Sure, now you're happy. Okay. Gabriel with a long throw in. Barber kicks it out to Bentley. That was a poor clearance, but Thelastis is there. Ashton has Greenbirch on the right. Greenbirch, well, couldn't really control Ashton's pass, and then had a really poor kick. It's a corner. Ray sends it in towards Odom. Lomas has it. He sends it in. It bounces off of Barber, who chases after it. Perry, and the highlight ends. And Khan has the free kick, sends it in. Ray heads it back out. Hines gets it from Sibic, and that's a goal. What happened there? Ray had a weak header. Sibic. It looks like the defender played the ball, and I don't know why. Okay. Deering is on yellow and a 6-3. He is coming off. Fletcher is going to come on for Thalassius, who's looking frustrated. Brian's looking frustrated as well, but I don't have Fried on the bench, so I can't play him. I'll say my last substitute. Oh, I forgot to change my tactics. I stepped back to control, because I think that was also one of the reasons the defense kept getting beaten. They were playing further forward. Control gives them a little further back. Brown with a nice block, pushing the ball over the crossbar. Ray with another corner kick in. Perry has it, hopefully. What the hell was that? Man. Just stupid stuff like that. Yeah, I encourage the boys. Hopefully that'll calm O'Brien down. Lomas to Odom. Wakely has it. Sends it up to Ashton. Over to Fletcher, who loses it. Lee gets the ball for Yeovil. Up to Hines. Now Spooner got there before my guy could. Agyapong takes the kick, but it bounces off O'Brien, goes out for the Yeovil corner. Agyapong has it. Odom trips Smith. Was that inside or outside the box? Oh, it's an inner. Okay. And the penalty kick is good. It literally looks like one of the guys ducked his head, and that's where the ball went. It's been a pretty even match. It's been a better than even match. We've had the possession advantage. We've had more shots. We haven't had as many on target, but we've had our chances. Honestly, this is the story of our last 5 games. We've had our chances. We just have not made the most of them. Yep, Yeovil moves up into promotion contention. Well, they deserve it. It was a good win for them. So I just wanted to take a brief minute, go through the squad here, highlight how some players are doing up to this point. We are going to sort by appearances. Joe Ray leads the team. 20 appearances, 7 assists, 7.47 rating. Still pretty solid in the midfield. Tom Ashton, 19 appearances, 2 off the bench, 13 goals, 9 assists, 3 players of the match. William Deering's been pretty solid for us as a defensive center back. 19 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists, a player of a match. Lucas Green-Birch, honestly, I don't know where we'd be without him. 14 goals, 15 assists, 3 players of the match. Go a little bit further down. Thalassius, 12 goals, 4 assists, 1 player of the match. Stuart Barber, 2 goals and 3 assists. Richard English, 5 goals and 2 assists. I don't know. I've got a couple things I'm bouncing back and forth. One is going to a 4-4-2 more often. One is playing the 3-4-1-2 more often. And frankly, I have the personnel that I could play the 3-4-1-2 and then drop back to the 4-4-2 if I had to. Or conversely, start the 4-4-2 and go to the 3-4-1-2. We may have to try that in the next couple of games. Because we have Gateshead coming up in 3 days. And then 3 days after that, we have Bromley coming in. So the next starting 11 is going to be a pretty rotated side. I will come back for that in just a second. And we will see if we can't get a win against bottom of the table Gateshead. Financially, we're doing okay. The board's still making £50,000 contributions to the team every other month or so. But for the most part, we're making a profit. It's not a lot of profit, but frankly, at this level, any profit is good. One of the things I was more than happy with was the fact that of my almost £8,900 payroll, I wasn't using it. And then I sat there and I'm looking at my team and I'm looking at where we are and going, this is kind of a transition year. It's apparent to me that some of the players I have on my team now aren't going to be here for the long haul as we try and make our way up to League 2. So I need to do what I can to go out and find players who can help us do that, and at the same time help us avoid relegation. I don't think we're in for a relegation fight, but this performance we're currently displaying has me worried, to say the least. So at this level of football, I really don't do a lot of in-depth scouting. What I will do is look for players and positions, and then if someone crops up at first blush, as an example, Elliott Smith here, and the things that make him a good left back, the attributes that make him a good left back, if they're fairly good, or the range on them is fairly good, and other things like determination and whatnot are also fairly good, I'll scout him a little bit more, get a little bit more knowledge on him. But for the most part, I don't have my scouts go all out. First impressions really count a lot for me in this case. And more often than not, my scouts are right. It's rare that they go out and they scout someone who they say is 4 stars and I bring them in and all of a sudden they're 2. Maybe they do that from time to time and I'm just not noticing it, but if that's the case, that's on me. So like as an example, in this case, I scouted Elliott Smith for a little bit until I realized his determination was a 4. And yeah, he'd be a good defensive left back for us who could also fit in as the midfielder, but I'm done with low determination players. If I had a tutor who could tutor him up, and at the time I didn't have Dan Ball on the roster, I would have brought him in. As it stands, I have made a couple of moves. One of them I am still waiting for him to sign the contract. The other one signed a contract a couple days ago. And he will be a fixture on the team for a long time, I hope. And his name is Matty Eldston. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, plays defensive center back really, really well. Really good physicals. Pretty good mentals where it counts. Good aggression, good bravery, good determination, good positioning and teamwork. His heading is a 13, his marking is 11, his tackling is a 7, his tackling is a 12, and his technique's a 7. His first touch and his passing are also really good. Yeah, he's not the best crosser or dribbler or finisher, but I'm not expecting him to do that. If I was to compare him to Luis Lomas, who is probably my best defensive center back at the moment, Eldston is head and shoulders above him, better, with a couple of minor exceptions in speed and vision, and there he's only one worse. Better attacking, better technical, better aerial, equal defending, but he's better physically. Plus, he is already at 4-star current ability, which means at 23 years old, yeah, he has 5-star potential, and it's possible he could get there, but he's not someone like a Luis Lomas, who is 3-star current, 5-star potential, and given that our training facilities are horrible, and our youth coaching is blah, he'll never come close to that, no matter how much first-team playing time he gets. The one thing it did cost me was 750 pounds a week and a promise that we'd be in the playoffs in 3 years, which is interesting because he only signed a 3-year contract. Yes, he's expensive, but he's worth it. He goes right in on the defensive back line. I expect him to start contributing immediately. I think he's a good pickup for us. And if I get my other signing in, I think that's only going to help us even more. So I'm going to skip ahead to the Gateshead lineup, and we will go from there. Back in a bit. Connor O'Grady is the other player I signed, and he just showed up this morning after passing his physical. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, 22 years old, comes in on 700 pounds a week and a promise that we'll be in the Vanarama playoffs within 3 years. Also plays defensive center back. Really good physicals, really good mentals, and the technicals for his position are excellent as well. 13 heading, 15 marking, 12 passing, 13 tackling. His first touch is a little bit better. His technique could use some work. His mentals are really good too. 9 aggression, 12 anticipation, 9 concentration, 10 determination, 15 leadership, 9 teamwork, could potentially be captain for us in a couple of years. And his physicals are all really good. Good jumping reach, good strength. The 7 agility is kind of, but he's a defensive center back. He's not supposed to be agile. He's supposed to jump in the air with his 12 jumping reach and with his 13 heading ability and his 6'2" frame, knock it past the defenders. He's Irish, but he spent his career at Sheffield Wednesday and then was at Boston United last season while on loan from Sheffield Wednesday. Was okay, but honestly, he didn't have the best career there. But frankly, you see stuff like, this heading, this marking, this tackling, this decision-making, that anticipation, jumping reach, natural fitness, and strength pop up at this level. And I had the budget to sign him. Now, the one thing that is happening is that Lewis Lomas was a bit concerned when Eldston showed up, and now he's absolutely PO'd that O'Grady's here because he thinks he's going to lose his place. I don't think he's going to lose his place. There's going to be a pretty good rotation set up for the next 8 to 12 weeks of games, and I fully expect O'Grady and Eldston to be 2 of the 3. It's that third spot that is going to be up for grabs. That's assuming O'Grady and Eldston don't fall apart, but we'll see what happens. We're going to be playing our 3-4-1-2, but it is going to be a pretty rotated side. O'Brien is going to be in goal. Lyons, Foster, O'Grady, and Eldston are going to start on the back 3, even though they're not entirely match fit. Gateshead's bottom of the league. It's a risk, sure, but it's one I'm willing to take in this case. Wilson, Perry, Monlewis, and Allen are the midfield 4. English is the attacking mid, and Fletcher and Rawson are my strikers. Yeah, honestly, if we weren't playing Gateshead, if we were playing any of the teams other than the ones that were bottom of the table, I wouldn't have started both Eldston and O'Grady. But at this point, it's a risk I'm willing to take. So we are moving right to left here. Mampala has it for Gateshead. Back out to Doyle. Into Yearwood. Centeno. Bounces off Lyons Foster. And that's the end of the highlight. Now, kickoff highlight usually doesn't last that long unless something good or bad happens, depending on what side of the ball you're on. Yeah, we will shut down Centeno. 15 minutes in, no one's had a shot. And as soon as I said that, we had 2 shots and 2 on target. Taylor Williams with the throw, and Smith intercepts up to Fletcher. Is he fouled? Nope. Grady to Perry to English to Wilson, who sends it forward, but no one's really near it. Bruce Smith sends it up to Turner Williams for Gateshead. Eldston intercepts it. Monlewis kicks it up, but it goes right to Gateshead. McLaughlin has it, sends it to Smith up front. He's holding it up. Yearwood to Mampala. Wilson intercepts it. He aimed towards Fletcher, but it was an errant pass. Gateshead recovered. Turner Williams has it on the right, sends it in. Eldston kicks it out. Eldston kicks it out again. McLaughlin takes a long shot, bounces off the woodwork, and then Lyons Foster kicks it out of bounds. With a very nice slide. That was a nice defensive sequence. Monlewis has it. Up to English, who kicks it way forward to nobody. We're going to check something out here at the half. Gateshead with the corner kick, and it's a goal. Not good, fellas. Not good. Altson's on a yellow. I'm going to take him off and bring on Barber. 55 minutes in. Nothing much going on in the second half. Okay, 60 minutes in. Smith is going to come on for Allen. Save my last sub here. 4 shots, 4 on target. We'll demand more. Okay, Wilson with a throw into Perry. Back to Wilson. To English. To Smith. Oh, nice goal. Nice equalizer. McLaughlin on the corner kick. Kerr to Doyle, and he buries it in the back of the neck literally a minute later. Unbelievable. We're going to take Mon Lewis off. Have him swap positions with Perry and bring Ray in. We're also going to go to the overload. I was going to say something about them getting it right back and didn't even have the words fully formed and they got it right back. That was a screamer of a kick from Doyle. Come on, guys. They're bottom of the table. We can't be losing to them. English, up to Fletcher. Over to Perry, who loses it. Bruce Smith has it, sends it up to Montpalo, who's all alone. He kicks it wide right. We should be running these guys on the ground. We are running these guys on the ground. Look at their conditioning. And that's the game. Damn it all to heck. Yeah, they had the possession advantage. We had 11 shots. 9 on target. And we're down in 14th place. 21 games played, 25 points. We're getting close to that ratio. Well, Darren Purse had no better luck than I did getting everybody on the same page. Well, I was going to say our one saving grace is that a lot of the matches we have coming up are against teams that are bottom half of the table, but freaking bottom of the table Gateshead just beat us. Well, I think what I'm going to do is play up until we find out who our FA Trophy first round opponent is. Well, the draw happened for our match at Bromley, and we drew Maidstone United. So what I'm going to do is play the 3 matches in between, and then we will come back and play Maidstone United and York City. Well, Yeovil Town is in a promotion battle. Losing to them, it's not a good thing, but it's not a bad thing. Gateshead is bottom of the table, and losing to them hurts. In our last 10 games, we've won 1, drawn 2, and lost 7. And if it weren't for our performance earlier in the season, when we managed to win more than a few games than we probably should have won, we'd be in a relegation fight. I'm lucky in that the board has not been making any noises about our performance the last 10 games. I suspect on a bunch of other teams I would be in trouble, but we need to get ourselves right. We've got some winnable games coming up. Bromley is definitely a winnable game. Dover Athletic, I'd like to think we have a chance. Tranmere's top of the table. If we win there, it would just kind of fit in with how things go. You lose to bottom of the table Gateshead, but you beat top of the table Tranmere. What's going on with that? So I'm hoping the addition of Elston and O'Grady are going to solidify the back line. I think that's been the source of a lot of my problems. But it's one step in getting ourselves right and getting ourselves ready for the next 2 years in the Vanarama. If you liked what you've seen and heard, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave them down below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. My name's FM18, and I thank you for watching.